evening, everyone, and welcome to episode 45 of your favourite talk show, All Four Back. I'm, of course, Chester 430, and I'm joined by Hadlington, as always. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, everyone.
A good evening to Shads.
Hello.
And a good evening to our wonderful producer, Tank. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
So, chaps, we're on the home stretch of this season. We've got a lot to talk about tonight.
Hooray!
Yeah, it's been a bit of a long season, hasn't it, chaps?
Too bloody long.
Yeah, definitely. On tonight's programme, we have a look back at the BGP and SCS rounds that took place at Rospiggarna in Sweden, where we actually had a first-time winner and a champion crowned as well. So more into that in a little bit. We have our Rider of the Week, of course, from our good friend Shads. And we're going to talk about the minimum match counter. Because, of course, getting towards the end of the season, there's still a lot more interesting facts here and there just to get back on the on the right track. And we also have the week 24 previews, of course, a big week, especially for the Pool Cowboys. And of course, the league table to round off tonight's show. So, first things first, we're going to bring on the BGP round 6 at Rospiggarna, and it was indeed a new winner for this season, and I do believe he is going to join us momentarily. Of course, he is a rider of the Newcastle Piemen, and we say a big welcome. He's been on the show before. It's great to have him back again. Welcome to Squall. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, mate. How you doing?
All right.
Good. Well, first of all, mate, big congrats on the win at Rospiggarna. I believe you're only the 12th different rider to win a BGP round, if I'm right in saying. So
That's what I hear.
just talk us through that meeting, because you started off only with 2 points in your first ride, but then you sort of stayed consistent, and those last two races you had in the semi-final and final got that win for you. Just talk us through it.
It was just one of them nights. I mean, practice, I was flying, and I thought I could do something here. And then meeting started, and it's like, yeah, everyone else is faster. I have no chance here. Managed to just scrape enough points, and then somehow got off gate 1 and won one of the toughest heats I've ever been in.
Mm.
Then final, just went for it, nearly binned it because I was shaking. Sizzler got past me, and I managed to get back past and somehow won it.
Yeah, just looking at that semi-final, it was yourself, Craig, Powis, and Stefan. I mean, you're right. That is a tough race to go in for your semi-final. Of course, overall this season, you're in the top 8. So, how has the season been for you as an individual format? Like, how's it been for you?
It's up and down as usual. I mean, sometimes I just wish I'd turn the game off. And sometimes it goes very well. I mean, I'm in a couple of finals now. And I'm determined to keep in that top 8.
Mm.
And next year, let's go for something bigger.
Yeah, so looking at the league table at the moment, you're 2 points ahead of Toretto. Also, you outscored Toretto on Sunday. So it's very close between yourself, Powis, Craig, and Toretto. Only like 5 points between you both, or between you all. So I guess for you now, I said there's one more round to go. What's your mindset going into that meeting?
Outscore Scotty B. That's it.
Outscore Scotty B.
That's all I've got to do.
Yeah.
And of course, we will have the draw for the final round, I believe, next week. So you'll be able to check that out. Now switching gears to the league. I want to bring you in just for the league, if I can, just very very
Oh, do
quickly.
we have to?
We've got to talk about something, mate, haven't we?
Yeah, do we have to?
Piemen this season, of course, I've known for years the Piemen being at Peterborough. It was always the Peterborough Piemen every single year, and of course, exactly the track changed to Newcastle for this season. I'm guessing it wasn't the home track you wanted, but I guess as the season's progressed, you've seemed to, you've kept matches close. Just obviously talk us through your league campaign.
It's an interesting one. It's not the home track I wanted, me personally, but it's what the team chose. I don't think half the team wanted Peterborough if we could have had it anyway.
Correct.
But, see,
Yeah.
but form-wise, I mean, we're all right at home, really. I've got a lot better around Newcastle than I was at the start of the season. I weren't that big a fan and quite enjoy it now. Away from home, we might as well not bother.
Until the next away meeting.
Who have we got next? Away.
Answered.
Oh, yeah, that's easy. Do need to practice for that.
I'm thinking the same. I'm thinking the same.
Brilliant.
Just turn up on night, see how it goes.
I guess for you now, Squall. Obviously, league title aspirations are out the picture for the Piemen. But you
before week one.
But of course, your team has the opportunity to spoil the Cowboys' party, because of course I do believe that if the Cowboys do get some sort of victory, or they get big points at your place, they'll be taking the league title home.
Get your money on Piemen.
Yeah, going into that match, I say, what's the feeling like in the camp? Have you practiced at all before the meeting? Have you got all the guys together to say, look, here we go, guys, it's a big match we've got. We can do this. Let's spoil the Cowboys' party. I mean, has that been happening at all?
We have done more practice for this than we've done for anything all season. We are determined to win and beat the Cowboys.
Big question is, are you at full strength?
I'm not telling you. I can't tell you that.
Any Cowboys?
Actually, I can answer that. No, we're not, because we ain't got Bewitcher, our number one.
Oh, of course, yes.
Good answer.
the number one fiasco of all, ever since. Yeah, it's a shame that the club's not had an out and out number one. Has that affected your mentality going for meetings and only got to use guests or rider replacement every time?
This is what it is.
We haven't used a guest, have we?
I'm answering this question. Shut up.
Oh dear.
I'm one of them. If the 6 are available, that's 6 rides. I'm not going to say you're sitting out because we want a guest to make team stronger or something. So the 6 we've got tomorrow is the 6 we've got tomorrow. Not tomorrow, Sunday.
Oof. But like I said, you've done so much practice. You want to get that win, don't you?
Yeah, Powers is sort of looking like a number one sometimes, so he can carry us.
Well, I guess
Big Al, he's the best number 7 in the league.
There we go. Strong words there. But of course, we'll have a full preview of the league coming up towards the end of the show. Well, many thanks for coming in, mate. Really do appreciate it. I say congrats on the win on Sunday, and we look forward to seeing the Piemen against the Cowboys on Sunday. So until then, mate, thanks a lot for coming in. Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Do we have an announcement to make, or are we going to leave it?
Announcement for what?
Oh dear.
Have I missed something? Have I
Yes.
missed?
You have. I think you have.
Over to you, Shad.
I'm gonna take this time to announce my rider of the week, seeing as we just had him on, and rider of the week this week is Squall for his magnificent win in the Grand Prix.
Hey, school rider of the week.
That's 2
There
this
we go.
season.
No, 1.5 because we shared one.
I'm counting it as 2.
Okay, you can it as 2 then. It was close between you and Cam because Cam went through the card in the SDF, but he bottled it in the semi-finals and finals. So
I did it
you
when
were
it
the
counts.
only, you were exactly. That's why you were chosen,
I did as Marslick.
and you beat some quality riders in the final and Sizzler too.
Mm. Oh wow!
He didn't come in for that one, surely.
Oh
I'm just
god!
going to sit back now. There you go.
Oh, brilliant!
Didn't take long.
We love you
There
really.
you go.
We love you really, Steve. Well, congrats there, Squall, on the rider of the week, mate. They went a bit ahead of me there for that one. We had that on after the SCS, but congrats on your rider of the week.
Thank you very much.
No worries, mate. So, rewinding now, we have the SCS, of course, taking place on the same night as.
You're okay now, Dan. You're back on track now, yeah?
Yeah, I'm back on track now. You
Good
went
man.
ahead of
Okay.
me.
I'm just checking.
You buggers. Oh, dear me. It was all planned out, and you go and step forward and then go, oh, I don't know. There we go. So, SCS, and as you said, Shads, Cam went through the card unbeaten, but then, of course, semi-final, got that second place. We cut him into the final, and of course, he bottled it in the grand final. So it was led to our next guest we're going to have on, who's actually taken the first piece of individual silverware this year. He's been, apart from his first round where he didn't turn up, he's been constant scorer, constant double figures.
Huh?
Actually, he did appear in the first one. He did. Who was it that missed the first one? I can't remember now. Yeah, I'm all over the place right now, guys. Anyways, we're going to welcome in the season 19 SCS Sliders champion. It's Mackinnon. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, guys.
Good evening, mate. First of all, congratulations. You've had one of the best SCS seasons going. You've been consistent scoring throughout. I'm going to hand over to Shads because he's got a few questions he wants to ask you because he's doing this interview. So, Shads, it's all yours, mate.
Hey, Mackie, how you doing?
Hello, Shads. I'm doing fine.
Yes,
How about you?
yes, I'm great. Congratulations again, my friend. It was pretty obvious from about halfway through the series that you were gonna win it. All you had to do was turn up, really. So glad to see you racing every round this season as well so far.
Yeah, I've been lucky with the work, you know.
Yeah, let's talk about the Sliders Championship Series first. I mean, you made your debut last season in the SCS, and you only scored 46 points in your 6 rounds. In 6 rounds this season, you scored 93 points, double what you scored last season. What's been the difference in your performances, do you think?
Difference this season has been that I put the hours in. You know, every track I've been practicing alone and talking to the guys, finding some lines, and just trying to do my best. You know.
That's great. I mean, you can see from the scores in the north side that everyone who rode last season has upped their averages massively, and the win rates for winning races. I mean, I think you had a 16% win rate last season yourself. I think you've doubled it, more than doubled it, 36%. So you're winning over a third of your races, which it shows you have been practicing. I mean, there's been some statements from Fecky saying he's going to retire after this season from FTS. I mean, what question people are asking you is, will you be around next season to take your place in the GP? And would you be racing in the league even if Norse aren't taking part?
The GP I will drive for sure. The season next season I don't know for sure right now, but I think I will be able to at least drive in some team in some sort of way.
You won't be taking the Norse team over then.
No, we have talked a little bit about it, but I don't know. I mean, 70% of us are working shifts, and it's just a lot of problems sometimes, depending on the league weeks and making it all come together. You know.
Yeah, it sounds like very much like the Panthers team this season as well. But can you tell us what the Norse practice regime's been like compared to last season? I mean, sometimes last season it looked like you hadn't even practiced some of the tracks you've been to, but this season you all seem pretty dialed in. I mean, what sort of regime do you have with practice now? I mean, do you practice like once, twice, 3 times a week? How's it go?
Last season, I mean, we didn't practice much at all, and during the summer we talked about it, making another season this year. And then we said to each other that just come to the practices, drive some laps, find the lines together, watch some demos, and just try to be better as a team. Learn to drive more as a pair and not individually. And I think that had done our most.
It sounds like it's worked pretty well.
Yeah, it worked pretty well actually.
Yeah, well, I'm glad to hear you're contemplating coming back for the GP at least next season. I mean, you have ridden in the past. Is it the Dragons you rode for? About 3 seasons ago. That's right. You rode with you, and Fecky was with you as well, wasn't he? So I mean, you have ridden before for other teams. So hopefully you'll be back next season because I mean, Norse have been a breath of fresh air this season. Well, last 2 seasons really. I mean, there's only a couple of people that expected you to do anything this season, and you've surprised everyone. You've done very well. Thanks, and congratulations again for winning the SCS. Very much deserved winner. Well done.
Yeah, thank you, Shads.
Thanks, Shads. And Mackinac, in terms, I said of the league format, the Norse came into the season this year off the back of a pretty, let's say, dismal season 18. But you guys literally, from the very first match you had this year, you were literally from the top, right from the word go, and you had away wins, but it wasn't just away wins; it was big wins, even at home or away. But it seems now that the team has just started to slowly dip a little bit. You know, you're down in 3rd place at the moment. I said, just what's been happening? Like, because you started the season like a house on fire. What seems to have gone wrong in the Norse at the moment?
I think it's just that the season felt so long, and it was just a lot of crashes with the work, and trying to get everyone to come to the practices and drive every map. I think that's been the most outstanding thing in the later part of this season. Unfortunately.
It's a shame when obviously work takes over and all that. So, but like I said, Mackinac, as Shad's alluded to there, you've been a great inclusion to the SCS this season. You've obviously won it with a round to spare. And obviously we thank you for coming on. And I say, yeah, good luck at your next Norse meeting, and good luck in the last round of the SCS.
Thank you.
Cheers, Matt. So that was Mackinnon there. Of course, he's had a great season. We're still looking at the SCS standings here. There's still room for improvement on that second place. It's still relatively close. Do you think, Shad? I'm going to bring you back in if I can, mate. Obviously you're in this. And of course you're top 4. Where you're 1 point off the. Well, you're currently in 4th. Do you think that top 3 is going to stay as it is now, or do you think one of the guys from below are going to sort of nick it at the last minute?
My SCS season's pretty much over. I think the top three is the top three as it's going to be. Can't see Wolfie dropping enough points for me. I mean, I've got to score 20 points and he's got to score about 2, I think. So that's not going to happen. So no, I think the top three is pretty much what it is. Whether there's an SCS next season, with the number of riders talking about dropping out next season, I mean, we've struggled this season to get 16 in as it is. So if you're losing half a dozen or so riders, I mean, looking at availability around the league, looks like, a lot of riders have sort of lost interest in the game. Whether it's just the summer league, whether they'll be back to the for the new season starting in mid-January, I believe. Attracting new riders seems to have hit the wall. Doesn't seem to be anyone sort of coming in or coming back. So I'm pretty much resigned for there not to be an SCS next season as we know it. Whether they can figure out a different formula so everyone gets a ride, because it's going to mean that half the league doesn't get to race for 2 weeks. The only way it can work is if they have the GPs on a Sunday and still have a league week in that week, because otherwise you're going to get 20 odd riders sitting about doing nothing for 2 weeks, and you know what, that's caused a lot of hassle this season with people getting fed up with not having a meeting for 2-3 weeks, not having a home meeting for 5-6 weeks, and you can see why people have lost interest. I mean, people lose interest for a lot of reasons. They lose interest because the team's not doing well. They lose interest because no one's practicing. Other things happen where work shifts change. But I genuinely fear for the SCS for next season in its current format.
Well, I've just seen in the chat, Cappy's put a bit of breaking news on. He says Wolfie will take the second place. Unfortunately, I won't be available on the 1st of December, which I believe when the final round takes place. So Wolfie's in a good chance here to get second place, which also would be a good result for Wolfie, because of course Wolfie's won the last 2 rounds before. Obviously, top scoring was 17 in round 6, but just missing out on the grand final. So. Yeah, so we want to say a big thanks to Squall for popping in and talking about his his BGP win, and of course Mackinnon with his number 1 in the SCS. But I think on that note, chat, we're gonna take a quick interval. When we come back, we're gonna talk about the minimum match counter with Hads and Tank. So do stick around, chaps. And we'll see you guys in 2 minutes. And welcome back to All Four Back with myself, Chester, Hadlington, Shad, and Tank. Now, we're going to go into a bit of a serious conversation now. We're going to talk about the minimum match counter. This is what the committee before the season started put together. And I want to hand over now to Hads and Tank, who are going to take you through the ins and outs and what's going on. So, chaps, the floor is yours.
All right, here we go. For people who don't actually know, this was in the rules, obviously, every season. I'm not sure, Tank will probably have to tell you more when it changed, where people actually have to race physically 4 matches in the team. Obviously, if teams don't meet that requirement, then the top score was points do get removed. As you can see on your screens, there is 4 teams who have to have facility or riders racing in those last couple of matches of the season. But I'll let Tank explain more, because obviously being the committee man as he is.
Yeah, so basically the physically riding part of the minimum match counter was to ensure that obviously riders at the lower end, and that was what it was to protect them so that they get plenty of rides in meetings, and then they weren't obviously shafted so that a guest could come in and such forth. It was to be fair for them, and it seemed the right thing to do. And that's been in place for, I think it's about 2 seasons. This might be the 3rd season now. So that's why it was brought in. And as you can see, the teams, obviously the Cowboys, the Piemen, and the Panthers have completed theirs. And then the 4 that haven't is Wolves, which with Hutty, it needs to be Hutty or a facility for him in one of the remaining 2. And Liam has to physically ride in both remaining. But there's no facility available because he needs to ride in 2 physically, having ridden in 2 to make the 4. Even though he's had a facility or ridden in 6 of the 7. So once it goes outside of the 7 matches, which should because there's 2 left, it's fine, because as long as 4's ridden, then that's all that matters really. For Norse, obviously, Shulen and that, or a facility for them in their remaining fixtures. So the next one he has to ride. For Spartans, he has to ride or a facility for them as part of his of their remaining 1 fixture. And then obviously for my team Warriors and that, it's Frax obviously, or a facility for them in both of them, and Pompey has to ride physically in one of the remaining 2 as well. So that's the state of play as it is. So
Yeah, so obviously with that being followed there, as you say, if teams don't obviously meet the requirement or not use one of these riders that we've shown as on the screen, obviously the top scorer will get removed and added to the other team score. Is that right?
yeah, it'll go like anyone. We'll adjust the scoreline, removing them, and they'll just like the unfortunate circumstances early in the season where Panthers have had it done to them. That would be the same thing that would happen. It wouldn't affect the riders' averages, but it would affect the scoreline, which would affect the obviously who gets points. So, for example, if let's just say I didn't put Frax in the lineup in one of the last 2, whichever one I didn't, or even in both. Say Craig scores a maximum and we won and we got all the points, but because I didn't put Frax in, then because everything changing, we could lose all the points, which would be a shame. And we'd lose all the points, and then the other team would get all the points, and we'd get nothing. So it can be fine margins, and that. So
Yeah, and to be honest, that is basically it. I mean, obviously, I know some people didn't know or may have not known these rules. Obviously, just the amount of matches, but you have to now physically void in those 4 matches. I know Hobnob's there in chat saying, like for his team, if Rossi can't void, obviously, can he void? And obviously, unfortunately, if the rest of the team are available, Rossi has to void. Regardless, it's basically it was to give the number 7 riders, number 6 and 7 riders, and making sure they were having their fair share of meetings as the rest. Obviously, the rest of the team, normally the 1 to 4s, are basically 9 times out of 10 on the first ones on the team list, really, aren't they?
yeah, it was just to give a good balance, but also to give the bottom end the balance and the chance to obviously improve and be included, and that just a little bit more. We listen to what people say, and that's why it was brought in. So yeah.
So apart from that, that is that, and we can just have a look at there is the counter there. There's obviously a spreadsheet for it. The red boxes that you see is the amount of matches that they have to ride in still, I believe.
Yeah. So
sorry, that's the matches they've rode in yet.
Yeah. So on the minimum, obviously, on the minimum column, obviously, see on Wolves and that, Hurty has to ride in 1. So, but he's in the green on the active column because he's ridden in a minimum of 4. So whilst it's one rule, but there's 2 parts to it, that's how you define the minimum and the active. So hence why Liam has to ride in 2, but only 1 minimum on the minimum. So that's how it comes about.
Yeah. Obviously, their Norse Julio is the same. He has to ride in one of their last 2 meetings. Obviously, Rossi as well for the Spartans. And then the other one, as you explained, was your team Tank with Frax and Hutty.
Yeah.
So there we go. That'll just give you an idea of obviously some of the teams going into the last couple of meetings. We'll hand back over to Dan now for the league previews, I believe.
Yep, thank you for that, Hads. Great insight into what's going to happen, and as we go into the business of the season. Of course, not matches now, still to go. Of course, we have 3 matches taking place. We have a double header on Monday. Am I right in saying, or is it Sunday? 2 Sunday, 1 Monday.
Monday.
2 on
Double header
Monday.
2 on Monday. So, first match Sunday, 10th November at 8:30. We have the Newcastle Piemen. Of course, we've spoken to Squall about this match, and they are taking on the Inform Pool Cowboys, where winning for the Pool Cowboys will see them clinch the league title for season 19. And as Squall said, you guys have done more practice on this track than any other meeting in the season. So, Hads, I'm going to bring you in if I can, mate. Big match on Sunday. What's the feeling like in the camp?
Yeah, Squall explained earlier. It's been pretty good. The practice has actually been decent this week as well. I think we're doing some more later on as well. So, obviously, I think I'm right in saying we're the only team not to use a guest so far, I believe. I have to double check that, but
I think
sure we haven't.
Did I guess?
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
once?
you're the only one who guessed it. Actually, yeah.
That might have been in
That's
the cup,
fine,
though.
yeah.
Actually.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that was the cup.
I can see how you forgot the way I rode.
It was at Hyde Road, actually, wasn't it?
Yeah. Didn't quite work out as we planned, but never mind.
I think we've only used wide replacement once this season, and the rest, obviously, as Squall said, if the 6 are available, the 6 wide. It's as simple as that, really. I mean, we do know the Cowboys, obviously, looking at social media, that Bobby and Stephen 101 are both on holiday. So, be interesting to see. Obviously, they'll probably be having a guest, I believe, for one of them, I presume. And if the rest are available, probably make up the team. So it's going to be a tough one. Personally, I didn't roll in our last home meeting as well, so it seems a long time since I've actually rode some competitive laps around Newcastle. But we had a good practice session the other night, so yeah, it's not been too bad. And obviously, the 2 lads there, number 6 and 7, Westy and Alan. I have to mention both of them too, especially Alan. Winning another race in the SCS and actually getting to the semi-final last Sunday. The improvement is clear to see now, I think, for most people. So hats off to both of them. They've really up their game out of the last, especially individually as well. Westy got a chance in qualifying for the SCS next season, obviously, if there is one. So yeah, obviously, Paris there. You just see in chat says that he would actually Alan. He said at the start of the season that Alan would get the highest average he's had riding at Newcastle and riding for the Pineman. So yeah, you are going to be right there, Mr. Pow. So fair play to you for that. But no, I think we've just relishing the chance of going up against a good Cowboys team and trying to be a bit of a spoiler and throwing a bit of spam in the works so it goes to the last meeting.
Chad, as a neutral, how do you think this match is going to go? Do you predict a scoreline?
Oh God, how do you predict a scoreline when you don't know who's riding? I say this every week. It's difficult. I mean, we know Bewitch is not going to be there. We know Stefan and Stephen 101 aren't going to be there. So I mean, I know who the guests are, but I can't say obviously. I'm looking at who the guests are. Oh, I'd like to see the Pyman win it just to make the league, just to sort of maybe try and extend it and make it a bit more interesting. It's going to be close, whatever. I'm gonna go for a very narrow home win.
Ooh.
Very narrow home win.
But I still think Paul will get a point out of it.
Yeah. So I say Paul can mathematically be crowned champions if they get something from this match. Is that correct?
No, I think because the Spartans are away in their last meeting, they could actually get 4 points, I believe.
Yeah, Spartans are at the Cowboys.
Obviously, Spartans are at Cowboys, so it'll make it interesting.
So the ideal scenario would be for a Piemen to win and get all league points, for it then to go to the last match and be the title decider, because of course it'll be first versus second.
Yeah,
and that'll be very very very
Well, either way, Spartans have got to get 4 points, I believe.
Yes, they do away from home.
Pool.
Yes, because the league table does look quite dire straits for the rest of the teams. So that match takes place on Sunday, 10th of November at 8:30. And the first of our double headers on Monday. First of all, at 8:30, we'll see Hackney taking on the Birmingham Wolves. Of course, with that match counter that the Wolves need to adhere to before the season's over. Again, Hackney, difficult track to go to. Of course, they've got it dialed in from like the first meeting this season. How do you see this one going between Hackney and Birmingham?
To be honest, I know the Wolves haven't rode again for a while, and obviously I think a couple of their team, obviously more. I don't know what the right wording is, but obviously as well with the facility one of those top 4 or 5 isn't going to be avoiding because of the rules as well. So for me, I can only see a home win. I think Wolves could go close to getting a point depending on the side they put out, but I'll see a home win here, and then if that could it's actually Norse's last match of the season. So if Norse get a win, and then
last match ever, maybe.
And then Cowboys beat Spartans in the last one, Norse can actually finish second. So,
Oh wow!
I mean, from last season, obviously, when they were bottom, I mean, even top 3, I mean, is impressive. But this season, I mean, hats off to them for obviously the practice they said they was doing earlier when we spoke to Mackinnon. So, yeah, fair play to the Norse just for getting at least the top 3.
Well, Scotty B there saying Norse heavy win. Shad, did you agree with that?
I absolutely agree with Scotty there. I was just going to say, Norse potentially their last ever meeting. They'll want to go out with a bang. I don't know if they're obviously out of the title race, but they'll want to go out with a bang. Wolves seem to be in a bit of disarray at the moment with team selection. So and we all seen how strong North are at home, especially against the weaker sides. So I think it's going to be a heavy North win, 20+ points.
So we both agree a big home win for Hackney in their farewell. We hope it isn't a farewell for Hackney because they've been a great inclusion to the game, and of course, we've had the likes of Fakey and Mackinnon on the show, and they've been really great inclusions, of course. And of course, Fakey was our very first guest all those seasons ago, back on episode 1 of the podcast. So a bit of history for Hackney there, and I mean, if Fakey has hinted retirement from STS, I mean, it's a sad way to go, and we want to say it's been a pleasure to have the Swedish contingent on STS, and maybe it's not a goodbye, more of a see you later. Maybe down the road we might see them. Yeah, but I say we good to see Hackney. As you said, finish with a flourish, and yeah, hopefully we may see him back in the not too distant future. And the second match in our double header, taking place at 9 o'clock, is the Wooden Spoon Battle, where the Rye House Warriors take on the Plymouth Panthers. And of course, Warriors this season came in as defending champions, and it's completely turned on its head. This one I see is too close to call. I mean, Limo for the Panthers has been in scintillating form. It's the number one that the Panthers have needed from when Limo came into the side midway through. Of course, Shad, you're in this meeting. Big match. Yeah, big match. What's the thoughts in the Panthers camp?
Well, we haven't actually discussed our thoughts about it, but I know we're practicing for it, as we do for all meetings. No one wants a wooden spoon. I don't want a third wooden spoon. I've already had 2. One with the Warriors. I think season 16 when we were at Trelawney. I don't want another one particularly. We'll be going for it. Obviously, we're looking to get something out of it, even a point of that. But we're obviously going there trying to win it. I think both teams are going to be without riders this week, as far as I know. Warriors have struggled to get a team together. I'm still not sure what our lineup's going to be, whether I'm going to be riding or not, whether I'm needed or not. Obviously, we'll be going for the win, and obviously Warriors will too. So hopefully, we get a point or maybe a draw. Hopefully, a win, and avoid that dreaded wooden spoon. I don't want another one. Definitely not.
Well, I mean, we've been talking in the group chat and on the Discord that we want to see this match potentially being streamed, being the more important matches of the three taking place. Even though obviously the Cowboys could potentially have a league title at Piemen, but this one seems to be the more important one. So hopefully, fingers crossed, if all goes to plan, we will hopefully get a screen share or stream taking place for this match on Monday at 9 o'clock. And with that being said, we're going to take one look at the league table. Of course, it's now very close to the top of the standings. Of course, Cowboys, Wolves, Piemen, Panthers, and Warriors have had one match less than Hackney. So also when these fixtures complete, all teams will be on 11 points, or 11 meetings, sorry. So the Cowboys currently lead on 30, Hyde on 27, North 25, Birmingham 16, Newcastle 10, Panthers have 5, and Warriors of Rye House have 3 points. So it's all to play for as we enter the final stretch of the season. Hads, going to bring you first in, mate, if I can. Very tasty at the top. Third place looks to be sewn up by Hackney, but they'll want that. If a Spartans loss and they win by big, it'll certainly make the last week of the season very, very interesting. Hackney could potentially finish second. And it's the battle between fourth and fifth, Wolves and Piemen. Just give us your thoughts on the league table. Like, how do you think the last few minutes are going to
go? I don't think we'll see much change, to be honest, in the league table. I think the only change will possibly be is Norse finishing second above Spartans in their last match. Panthers and Warriors. Obviously, if the Warriors beat the Panthers, the Piemen are actually at Plymouth in the last meeting as well. I mean, so if we were to get obviously a win or a couple of wins together, we could actually leapfrog Wolves if they get no points from their last two. But I mean, it's a big ask to get 7 points against the Cowboys and then go away and get 4 points, as we've not been very clever away, shall we say, this season, really. So I can't see too much changing at all, to be honest.
Quite be saying all pies can go sick.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, that's true. I mean, if Plymouth get the win against Warriors, that'll take them to 9 if they get a 4-point win. And then if they beat Piemen, obviously Piemen will be 6th and Panthers 5th. So yeah, that's well spotted there, Scotty, to be fair. So obviously in the first season, I know the Panthers, especially Capesy, it's been a bit of a hard time on him this season in his return to captaincy, but he's one he'll never give up and keep going to the end. So it wouldn't be surprised me if the Panthers get obviously last meeting it could be a battle for 5th and 6th, and then obviously a battle for 1st and 2nd as well.
Yeah, also with the patchwork Cowboys, from what we can gather, going to Newcastle on Sunday, and if Newcastle can spring a surprise against the Cowboys, it then takes it to the final match of the year, where of course Spartans will take on the Cowboys at Poole. Shads, one final thought from you, my friend. Of course, Warriors down the bottom there, but I mean, you came into the team sort of mid-season, even with the result having not gone your way. I mean, I know it's the feeling in the camp's not very positive at the moment, but what's your thoughts going into the last few matches?
Well, Warriors haven't won a home meeting. We haven't won an away meeting. So it's all set for a draw.
Yeah, go for a draw. Go for a draw. Hashtag draw.
Yeah, I'll take a draw now.
Oh, that'd be good, wouldn't it? Yeah. All the hype, all the build up for a draw.
I mean, it's not looking positive with me lying second in the Panthers averages at the moment.
Oh, bloody hell. Wow.
Hey ho,
Blimey.
we'll give it our best.
Oh, yeah, you know what? You always got to do that. You always got to give it your best
Yeah.
shot.
I'm not going to be low. I'm not going to be average lowering this season. Not on purpose anyway.
Mm. Fair enough. So, with that being said, chaps, I think we can wrap up tonight's show unless anyone else has got some final comments they want to give out.
Hashtag Simon Winchester for Wolves.
Find Winchester for season 20.
No, for Wolves for the last 2 matches.
Yeah, they're looking for a reserve.
Right. Seriously.
You got more chance of McNally scoring more points than me in one match than I would in the whole season.
Hey, don't diss the
Don't put
McNally.
down Alan. Hey,
Don't diss the
he's more matches
McNally.
in the SCS now.
Yeah, I mean, you got more point. You got more chance of McNally scoring more points.
He's no wobbler. He's no wobbler.
Than
Only on the last lap.
I tell you what, if every race was 3 laps, Adam would be top of the averages.
Yeah, that's the same. That's the same in Cycle Speedway. Blooming, always just be quick at the start, but I mess the rest of the race up. If the race was just a straight drag race, I'd be world champion multiple times over. But anyway, chaps, I think with that being said, we can now wrap up tonight's show. Like I said, we've got matches on Sunday and then a double header on Monday. The podcast will be posted tomorrow at 8 p.m. as always by Tank. So stick around and watch the show back and see myself make an absolute mare of it. To start with, my apologies for that, guys. But until then, I will say a good night to Tank. Good night, sir.
Good night.
A good night to Shads.
Night all.
A good night to Hadlington.
Good night, all.
And it's a good night from me, Chester. We will see you back here next week. Potentially start time at 8 o'clock. All depends on what happens with my rotor. But once you're made aware, I will let you guys know. But until then, all the best for your racing coming up, chaps. And ride hard, stay safe, stay well. And we'll see you all for episode 46 of All 4 Back next week on Friday here on Discord. Until then, take care, chaps, and we'll see you all next week. Take it easy.